Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to today's science class. So, we are in chapter 8 body movements, and today we are going to learn about the bones and its types. So, before we start discussing about bones and its types, let us have a quick recap of things which we have discussed in our last class. So, in the last class, we discussed about the skeletal system and its functions. So, let us just go through the important points once again. So, let's begin. So, skeletal system. Bones in our body form the framework that supports the whole body, and this framework is called the skeleton. So, this is basically a framework that supports our body. Now, just mark these important lines. This is a framework that supports our body. So, this framework is called skeleton. So, our skeleton is made up of number of bones and cartilages we have already discussed. There are about 650 muscles attached to the various bones in our body. So there are around 650 muscles attached to the various bones in our body. Now the bones are hard and rigid. We all know the characteristics of bones. Today we are going to discuss in detail about the types of bones. Then cartilages are comparatively soft and elastic. So we discussed cartilages, they provide cushions in the joints so that the bones do not rub against each other and damage themselves. So it provides cushion. So now let us see some of the important functions. So functions of skeleton. So we all know it protects our organs like brain, heart and lungs. So it protects the inner organs like heart, lungs and brain. So we all know, we have discussed about the function that it provides support. So it provides support, and apart from that it also protects the inner organ such as heart, lungs and brain. Together with muscles it gives the body proper shape. So this skeleton system is responsible to provide a proper shape to our body. Then the red blood cells and some white blood cells are produced in the marrow of the bone. So again we are going to discuss this part today, how red blood cells and white blood cells are produced in the bones, or in which part of the bone it is produced, and what are their functions we are going to discuss in today's class. So this is the summarization of the function of the skeletal system, and we can also uh, say that these are the function of the bones, because we know bones are the main part of our skeleton system. So more or less we will talk about the same thing again while discussing the function of our bones. So now let's see some of the important parts of skeleton system. Now skull has two main parts. One is cranium and the other is facial bones. So we know cranium, it is responsible for protecting our brain. You can see it's here, this part. This is the flat part which is cranium, and then the frontal facial parts. Here we have facial bones. So here we have upper jaw, lower jaw which is movable, and few other bones which are part of these facial bones. So this help us to eat, talk and do other activities related to our mouth. So these are facial bones. So this is about the skull. Now let us talk about the bones and its types. So bones provide the structure of our bodies. The adult human skeleton is made up of 206 bones. So an adult human being has 206 bones in total, but when for child it is around 270. So what happens when a child grow, some of the bones they fuse together, and then hence the number of bones it reduces to 206. So for a baby or for a children below 5 years, basically the number of bones are around 270. They are around 270, but uh, gradually when they grow some of the bones they get fused, and then the number reduces to 206. So this is the number of bones present in an adult human being. So this includes bones of skull, we have already discussed, spine, ribs, arms, legs. So bones are made up of connective tissue reinforced with calcium and specialized bone cells. Most bones also contain bone marrow. So we are going to discuss about this also, bone marrow, where blood cells are made. So bone marrow is an important part of bone where blood cells are produced or they are made. And we know what are the important functions of blood cells. Blood cells like RBC, WBC, and platelets. So these cells help in different ways, uh, from supplying oxygen to the cells to taking out carbon dioxide, then fighting with diseases like WBC cells. They are important to fight with diseases, and then platelets. It helps to it helps in blood clotting. So these are some important functions of blood cells. We are again going to discuss this now. So we can summarize the function of bones. So what are the functions? As I said, it is quite similar to the function of skeletal system, because more or less bones are the main part of skeletal system. So it support the body, so provides, it is a support of the body, we can say. Then protection of soft organs, we have already discussed organs such as heart, lungs, and also brain. So it is protected by the bones only. Then it helps in movement. So bones, in coordination with the skeletal muscles, it helps to move. So movement is due to the attached skeletal muscles. So in coordination with the muscle cells or muscles, the bones help us to move. Then along with that, storage of minerals and fats. So it also store minerals such as calcium. We all know bones require calcium. For healthy bone, doctors prefer what? They prefer calcium as a diet. So we all know calcium is very much necessary for the proper health of our bones. So we should uh, always include calcium in our diet. Then also blood cell formation, we have also already discussed that blood cells are formed in the bone marrow, which is part of a bone. So this is very important part or important function, we can say, of bones. Then let us discuss about the types of bones. So mainly there are four types of bones in the human body. There is one more, like sesamoid. Bone is a small round shaped bone which are present in the tendons. So some books they include this also in the types of bone, but mainly if we consider, there are four different types of bone. So these types of bones are classified into four types, which are long long bone, short bone, flat bone, and irregular bone. And like I said, there is another special type of bone which is sesamoid. uh, Sometimes it is also included as a type of bone, but mainly if we consider, it is of four types. So these are the main four types of bones present in the human body. So let's discuss them one by one. So long bone, uh, it is long and thin in shape. Examples include the bones of the arms and legs. So the bones of our arms and legs, they are the long bone. uh, but we have to exclude wrist, ankles, and kneecaps. So they do not include in this parts such as wrists, ankles, and kneecaps. So these are the long bones. Then short bones. What are short bones? Short bones are small and they are cube shaped. Examples include the bones that make up the wrist and the ankle. So as we said, we have to exclude wrist and ankles from here because they are part of what? Short bone. So here we have the example of short bone. So this is short bone. Now flat bone. Flat bone has a flattened broad surface. Examples include ribs, shoulder blades, then skull bones. So these are some of the examples of flat bone where it is present. Then irregular bone is a shape that does not conform to the above three types. Now irregular means they do not have any proper regular shape, so it does not come under any of the above three types of bones. So this include bones of the spine vertebrae, so they are irregular in shape, they do not have any proper shape. So these are the four main types of bones. Then these are the pictures of these types of bones. So here we have, this is the long bone. As I said, this is part of arms or legs. So femur is the longest bone of our leg. It is the thigh bone, which is the longest bone in our body. Then in the arms we have humerus, is a part of bone present in the arms. So this is the long, then we have, this is the short bone, then this is the flat, and this is the irregular. Like I said, there are another special type of bone which may include here, and this is sesamoid. So these are the pictures of these different types of bones. So once again, this is long, this is short, then this is the flat one, and this is the irregular one. And there is another special type, that is sesamoid. These are present in the tendons. So these are some of the pictures of different types of bones. Then what is bone marrow? We have already discussed that blood cells are being produced in the bone marrow. So bone marrow is a part of bone where blood cells are made. So this is an important part of bone where blood cells are made. So three types of blood cells are made by bone marrow, which include red blood cells. And what is the function of red blood cells? It carry oxygen around the body. Then white blood cells. So what are white blood cells? Make up the body's immune system. So it helps to fight with the various infections of our body. Then platelets. So platelets are used for blood clotting. So this is again an important function of blood. So these are the blood cells which are produced in the bone marrow, and bone marrow is a part of what? Our bones. So this is about the functions of what? Bone marrow. Then we have now these are some important things which we have discussed today, and in the next class we are going to discuss about joints and its types. So let us underline few important things once again. So first thing about bones, you have to remember, so bones provide the structure of our bodies. The adult human body is made up of 206 bones. So underline this line first. Bones provide the structure of our bodies. The adult human skeleton is made up of 206 bones, which includes spine, ribs, arms, and legs. So bones are made of connective tissue. So bones are what? They are basically made up of connective tissue reinforced with calcium and specialized bone cells. So calcium is very important for bones. You can again underline, this is the mineral which is uh, required for healthy growth of bones. So bones also contain bone marrow where blood cells are made. So these are some important points. Please mark in your copy, or write down rather in your copy. Then again, these are the important functions of bones similar to that of skeletal system. So also underline these important points regarding the function of bones. Then we have types. So there are mainly four types: long, short, flat, and irregular. And also examples you have to remember, such as long bone, arms and legs; short bone, it is a cube shaped and it is present in the wrists and ankles. Then flat bones, we know it is part of skull bone also. Like cranium is a flat bone that helps to protect our brain. So again irregular bones, they do not have any proper shape, and it is part of spine, that is vertebrae. So it includes bones of spine or vertebrates. So these are some types of bone, or four main types of bone. These are the pictures of bones. Then we have already discussed bone marrow, and in the next class we are going to discuss about joints and its types. So this is all for today. Thank you, my dear students.